Welcome back to Dear Katie, where I answer your social media questions. So if you have a question, head over to dearkatie.leaders-online.com, submit it, and it just might be covered in an upcoming video. Now, to make sure that you stay up to date on all things Dear Katie, head over to leaders-online.com/blog. And that way you will get our weekly newsletter that goes out every single Saturday where I answer one of these questions. Now, today I'm really excited because I got a great question. And that was, can you speak about using your personal social media as an employee of a business while you also have your own business? What are the benefits and drawbacks? Are there things you can do to protect yourself? I believe I saw once that someone had to turn their personal social media over to a company when they left because they had been using it to promote the company. Any tips on navigating the best way to do so? So, there's a lot of things that we can break down in this. And if you have comments as I'm talking about things, make sure that you leave them and I'll get back to you at the end of this session. But yeah, there's a lot we can talk about. Now, if you're wondering if you should be using your personal profile or business profile as a business owner, that's another one I'm going to cover. That's a question I get all the time, and I'm going to be covering that coming up. But specifically, this session is going to be about being an employee and using social media while also having your own business. So, as a quick disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. Certain industries and companies, they're going to have their own regulations, and make sure that you talk with your lawyer and the company you're working for, and those that are impacted about what is actually okay for you. So, I'm going to speak generally, but of course, once again, this is not legal advice, and please don't take it as legal advice. The first thing is I would not try to hide anything with your employer. If you have a business, I would let them know about that. That way, if you're creating content on behalf of your business, there you have nothing to hide. You're not blocking them on certain platforms, blocking other employees of the company. That's just messy. Now, if you are worried that your current employer might see you as competition because let's say that you're providing outsourced accounting services on the side and you also are an accountant employed by somebody. Now, I could see where you might be afraid, like, hey, they might see me now as competition. But the truth is, this content will likely also benefit the company that you're at. How? Even if it doesn't bring them new clients, it shows that they have experts working for them. So that content that you're producing for, say, your side business, there are benefits still there for the company that you are employed at. And this is something that hopefully the company that you're working for, they could see that there are benefits to having you produce content, even if it is for your company that is outside of their company that you are working for. Now, the question around actually protecting yourself, of course, talk to a lawyer about this. However, as a blanket statement, which of course does not apply to everyone, assuming you're not doing anything that disrespects the company that you're at, I don't think that you have a lot to worry about. Now, I did once read this book called On Brand, and the person who wrote it, she actually built a really big following of 300K Twitter followers under the username DKNYPR Girl. And after leaving DKNY, she was actually asked to delete the Twitter account and did so. However, I think that this situation is different from a lot of people, or particularly the girl who wrote in and asked this question, because she was branding herself under that company's brand, whereas most people, they are going to be creating content around, say, their own company, and what they're doing on the side. So those are two different situations where this girl was asked to delete her profile because she was actually branded underneath that company she was working for. Now, what if you go and you talk to the company that you're working at and they're like, hey, we don't want you to build your brand online. Now, assuming there aren't legal reasons why, and it's just personal, then my honest answer is leave. You have one life, one career. If building your personal brand online is important to you, there are plenty of companies that will gladly support you doing so. And I don't subscribe to the notion that you should give up your dreams to build other people's dreams. Now, of course, this isn't something where necessarily you would just leave right away, but if something is important to you and if your current job doesn't support that, is it really in your best interest to stay long term? Probably not. Now, for companies that are listening and they're like, "Hey, I'm nervous that if my people build a personal brand online, that these people might get poached by other employers." Then I ask yourself to consider what kind of job you're offering them. If the company is offering you a great job and opportunity, then why would you leave? So, if people are worried about their employees leaving, that's a reflection they should make on themselves to say, like, am I offering them good jobs? Because if I am, then they don't have any reason to leave, even if they're building their brand and other business owners, other companies are inquiring about them. So, as a quick recap, check with the lawyer and the business owner to see if there are any legal requirements or things that you should be aware of. Two, don't try to hide anything. Be upfront about this side business that you have. Don't go through that whole process of blocking your boss and employees. You don't need to do that. Three, focus on building your personal profile. And four, if it's important to you and the company you're at doesn't support it, consider if you should stay there long term. So that's my thoughts on this question. And as I mentioned before, if you want to stay up to date on all things Dear Katie, head over to leaders-online.com/blog. Make sure that you're subscribed to the newsletter. And if you have a question, head over to dearkatie.leaders-online.com. So I look forward to seeing you next week. And thanks everyone who joined.